Give it a couple of seconds. Shalom. All right, there we go. So now I'm live from both Facebook and my YouTube page. Hopefully you guys can see me. The lighting in here is kind of awkward. I'm missing a couple of light bulbs. They just blew. So I don't know exactly when I'm going to get that because we are in the middle of a snowstorm. So hopefully this video does not get interrupted and I'm able to give you guys the facts that I had promised that I would bring forth. I do apologize for it being like a week and a half later. I believe that's when I had made the post concerning agave syrup, agave nectar syrup, blue agave syrup, whatever versions that you guys are familiar with. I had just recently started purchasing agave because I was told about it by a sister whose family is practicing vegans, and she was stating that it is it would probably be a lot less expensive for me to purchase because I don't have to use as much of it. It's a lot sweeter than honey and it stretches. You don't have to use that much. So when I was told that, I'm like, oh, well, I need to check this out and I need to start buying this agave because if I don't have to use as much, then that's going to be a big plus for me because we buy raw, unrefined honey and we have to use quite a bit to sweeten our granolas, to sweeten our tea, or to sweeten our cereals, our yogurts, things of that nature. So if I can save money by switching to a healthier alternative, or this considered the same type of sugar or sweetener with the same or better benefits, then that's my go-to. So I had just recently started purchasing agave before I found out that it's really not as good for you as they have put out in the media. And so I wanted to go over a couple of the facts and the sources where I am getting the information from so that you guys can make a sound decision on whether or not agave will still be something that you would put in your cupboards. For me and for my household, we're not eating agave anymore, even though we had only been eating it for a short stint. I think I had it for maybe 3 weeks before our holistic doctor had brought up to us that agave was not good. So I'm going to tell you what he shared with me. And then I'm also going to share with you some other things that I ended up finding out while I was doing some research and some background information, background study on agave as well. I am a firm believer in self-autonomy, going and researching things for yourself. That way you are definitely sure about the decision that you're going to make on anything. You know, I don't like people to make decisions based off of, oh, you know, Sister Gabby said it's not good for me, so I'm not going to eat it. Okay, that's good. But I also like people to go back and do some study so that they can see why Sister Gabby or why their doctor or why their nurse practitioner told them not to do something or to do something. So I encourage and I admonish you, even after I give you these facts and these different sources, I admonish you to go and pull up the same thing and read it for yourselves. Because when you read the truth, then it becomes truth for you. Okay? So, agave facts. And I have a little sheet of paper here going over all of what I'm going to say. So I just like to kind of type up and write down the things I'm going to say so I don't miss anything. But it's not going to be a long video at all. Just going to go down this list and then let you guys decide whether or not this is something that you want to continue to do. So first, we're going to start off with the facts on why it's not good for you. Okay, so I'll be naming the doctors and the different sources that I've gotten the information from for you. Okay, this one starts off, says, in the words of Dr. Johnny Bowden, PhD, CNS, or C.N.S. Agave syrup nectar is basically high fructose corn syrup masquerading as a health food. That is from the doctor, Dr. Johnny Bowden. You can look him up, but he's saying that pretty much the hype that they're giving you is just the facade telling you that it's a health food, but it's really not. Okay, that's Dr. Johnny Bowden. That's Bowden. Okay, agave is not healthier than honey, sugar, high fructose corn syrup, parentheses HFCS, or any other type of sweetener. And that is the ADAM Medical Encyclopedia. That is where it's written. That's what's written in the encyclopedia. That agave is not healthier than honey, sugar, or high fructose corn syrup. Now we know high fructose corn syrup is not healthy at all. So to say that agave is not healthier than high fructose corn syrup is saying something serious, meaning agave is not healthy at all. Okay, if you research high fructose corn syrup, you will see that consumption is detrimental to your health. I mean, it causes cancer, causes candida, causes cardiovascular health issues. I mean, heart disease. Geez, I mean, and that's high fructose corn syrup. So if high fructose corn syrup is doing that, you can only imagine how the agave syrup will mimic those same type of health-related issues in our bodies, especially for women. Women, you have a higher risk of developing cardiovascular diseases than men. So this is something very, very serious that you want to take a look at and make sure that this is not becoming a regular in your diet. Okay. I'm pretty sure with a lot of these other facts that I'm going to read, it's going to keep hitting on the high fructose corn syrup similarities between that and agave. Okay, so the modern process for producing agave nectar is not unlike the process of converting corn into high fructose corn syrup. Most industrially produced agave syrup is processed with enzymes and other harsh chemicals that convert the starches into fructose, according to the osteopathic physician and best-selling author Joseph Mercola. Dr. Joseph Mercola. The finished product, agave nectar, is 70% or more fructose, on par with HFCS. So HFCS is just the abbreviations for high fructose corn syrup. Do you hear that? 70% or more. 70% or more. Whew. That's not good. We used to think that because agave has a low glycemic index and doesn't spike your blood sugar like regular sugar does, it will be a good alternative for diabetics. But it turns out that although agave doesn't contain a lot of glucose, it contains more fructose than any other common sweetener, including high fructose corn syrup. End quote, Dr. Oz. I wanted to read that because Dr. Oz is a doctor that a lot of people look up to. A lot of people change their eating habits and their diets in general based off of the information that he brings forth. He was a pusher of agave syrup as an alternative sweetener to your foods, to your drinks, to your teas. And so I wanted to bring out what he had said about the agave so that you guys can see that it's not just different blog posts that are talking about agave is bad for you. No, you actually have doctors who are coming forth and bringing out the issue of not consuming the agave nectar or consuming much less. Okay, so that again was Dr. Oz, the TV show doctor, giving you claims on. Now he's no longer supporting pushing agave being put into the homes of Americans or anybody. Okay. This is also a statement that he made. Unlike glucose, fructose can only be broken down in the liver. As it gets metabolized, uric acid and free radicals form, which can trigger inflammation and damage the cells. Plus, one of the most dangerous final products of fructose metabolism is triglycerides, which can contribute to the fatty arterial plaques responsible for cardiovascular disease. High triglycerides are particularly dangerous for women, whose risk for cardiovascular disease rises 3 times as much for every single unit increase in triglycerides compared to men. End quote, Dr. Oz. Okay, so women, sisters, this is serious for you. You're 3 times more likely to develop a cardiovascular disease than a man is. Okay, and high fructose corn syrup and agave syrup is going to be instrumental in helping that risk continue to increase. Okay. Agave has about 60 calories per tablespoon compared to 40 calories for the same amount of table sugar. Are you hearing this? Agave has 60 calories per tablespoon compared to sugar that only has 40 calories per tablespoon. And sugar's not good for your body either. Not at all. Sugar is actually poison to our system. Okay? If you can get sugar at your house, get it out your house and replace it with honey or maple syrup. Okay? That's what we do. Okay? Research shows that it's the fructose part of sweeteners that's the most dangerous. Fructose causes insulin resistance and significantly raises triglycerides, a risk factor for heart disease. It also increases fat around the middle, which in turn puts you at greater risk for diabetes, heart disease, and metabolic syndrome, a kind of pre-diabetes. Okay? It's almost all fructose. I'm going to say that again. Agave nectar syrup is almost high fructose corn syrup. It's almost all fructose, highly processed sugar with great marketing. Okay? Said Dr. Ingrid Kolstad. I hope I didn't butcher his name. Please forgive me. Ingrid, which is Ingrid, Kolstad. KohlstadT. I hope I didn't butcher his name. If I did, I apologize. a fellow of the American College of Nutrition, and an associate faculty member at Johns Hopkins School of Public Health. Fructose interferes with healthy metabolism when consumed at higher doses. Many people have fructose intolerance, like lactose intolerance. They get acne or worse diabetes symptoms, even though their blood sugar is okay. So, the sweetener sold as agave nectar is not truly nectar. It is a refined processed sweetener made from agave nectar. Okay, so even though the bottle says agave nectar, it's not nectar that you're getting. You're actually getting the processed sweetener that's made from the nectar. Okay, agave nectar may just be the unhealthiest sweetener in the world. It makes regular sugar look healthy in comparison. And that is saying something. Because like I said, we know sugar is toxic to our bodies. Our bodies cannot identify that. That table sugar, it cannot identify that. And so to say that agave is worse than sugar, that's something we need to pay attention to. All right. So those are just the facts that I've given. Now I'm going to give you the negative effects of consuming the agave nectar syrup. Okay. These are just a few. There are a lot of other negative effects that happen to your body from the consumption of this, from too much consumption of it. But I'm only going to make mention to maybe 5 to 6 of them. So the first one that I have is it increases belly fat and weight gain. Next, you can become insulin resistant, whether you're diabetic or not. This affects the release of the hormone leptin. Okay, the hormone leptin, which is leptin, is the hormone that controls your appetite. So with the consumption of the agave nectar, this is going to interfere with that hormone being released into your body, which is what you can kind of see how weight gain will happen. Okay. The agave nectar also affects the release. I just said that. It also poses danger to your cardiovascular system. Because it's all fructose. Okay. Another negative effect is it can cause pregnancy complications. So if you are pregnant and you are consuming agave nectar, I recommend you stop. Okay. Stop consuming the agave. You can see I'm very much so pregnant. I don't do agave. I was not, I took maybe the most agave that I've had is maybe a tablespoon. Like I said, I just recently purchased maybe 2 pounds of agave, maybe 2 days before we went to go see our holistic doctor. And when he brought out those papers to me and was like, I want to tell you, do you guys have agave in your house? And I'm like, I just bought some agave. He was like, okay, you want to get it out? When he brought that information to us and sat us down and began to tell us all of the harmful effects that it would have imposed on our body and my child's body, I immediately called home and I called my sister. I said, hey, throw the agave out. Throw it in the trash. I said, throw it in the trash because it's no good. And we're better off consuming sugar. And so by the time I got home, the agave was thrown in the trash. Literally, I just bought it 2 days ago. Now I spent maybe $15. But, you know, there's no price on health. So we got rid of it immediately. I couldn't take it back because I had already opened it. So, and then, you know, I don't want to take it back for anybody else to start consuming it. So I threw it out immediately. Okay. the last negative effect that I'm going to mention is mineral depletion. Okay? It depletes the body of its minerals. That sounds like sugar. Dries you out. Okay? So, I'm going to end the video in about 30 seconds. So, I just want to end with this. The plant in its natural form is actually okay. In its original natural form, extracts from the agave plant contain strong antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. However, none of these beneficial elements are present in the agave that we see in the stores. And that is because of the processing that goes forth with making the syrup. It completely almost destroys all of the beneficial constituents of the actual agave plant. Okay, so nothing is wrong with the plant in general in its natural form. All right, so you can eat agave plant if you want to, but consuming the syrup is not good for you. Okay, so here's my suggested substitutes. Honey is always good. It's always been good for you. Stevia, which is an herb, and that is a natural sweetener. I don't like stevia. I'm just saying. I'm just recommending stevia because I don't like stevia. You might like stevia. It may taste pretty good to you. And then another alternative, which I do like and which is very good for you during pregnancy, are dates. You can make a sweetener out of dates. You can take some coconut milk and you can soak, or coconut oil. You can soak the dates in coconut oil. And once they have gotten, you know, kind of gelatinous, you can stick it in a blender, grind it up, boom. Now you got you some date syrup. Dates are a great way to sweeten your cereals. Your, what else would you sweeten? I don't know. I guess granola too. But I use dates in my hot cereals. I make a porridge. That's just the name of it, but it doesn't look like porridge at all. I make a porridge out of teff grain and I sweeten it with dates, and it is so good. Oh my gosh. You got to try it. So dates, they have date sugar. You can figure out, there's multiple recipes online where you can make your own date sugar. But those are different substitutes that you can use instead of the agave nectar syrup. Okay. And you'll still get the benefits. You'll still get good benefits that will not cause negative effects to your body. You know, we don't want to do what the system does to us. It said, take this for your headache, but at the same time, you may have a leaky gut and bloody stool and blurred vision. We don't want to do that, okay? So bless y'all. I hope that this was informative for you guys, and I hope that spikes your interest to go look up some more things on agave and save some more people from agave. So bless y'all. Shalom. Oh, I'm trying to push the actual button on my YouTube. That didn't work. Bye.